Cock, and this is my dear friend Eleanor Roosevelt. Hello. We're going to be doing an interview today. And so, to start off, where and when were you born?
I was born in October of 1884 in New York City. Both of my parents came from wealthy families, so naturally I was born into the high society of New York City.
And what was growing up like for you?
Well, though we were wealthy, it was definitely not easy. It was quite difficult, in fact. My mother, she was the most beautiful person I knew, and she and her sisters teased me, calling me the ugly duckling of the family, and so I never felt good enough or pretty enough, and she wasn't very affectionate or loving. And my father, I adored him, and he was loving, but he had health problems and an extreme alcohol addiction, and my mother had died when I was 8 actually. She died of diphtheria, and my father passed away a couple of years later. He just lost it completely, and so then I had to live with my grandmother on my mother's side, and I lived with her for 7 years until she decided I should go to a school called Allenswood, which is in London. So I went to Allenswood, and that was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, and I learned a lot there. I developed stable relationships, and Madame Sylvester was a teacher, and she was like a mother to me.
And how many kids do you have again? I forget all the names.
Well, I have 5 children. I would have had 6, but my third child, Franklin Delano Jr. the first, I know it's silly, the first, he died of pneumonia and influenza when he was just 8 months old. But I've got Anna Eleanor Jr., I've got James, I've got Elliot, Franklin Delano Jr., and John.
And what were some of the challenges of being married to Franklin?
Well, one of the challenges was that he was raised in a very stable and loving home where his parents just loved him and he was confident, and I didn't have that, so I wasn't confident like that. And when we went out, he was flirtatious, and that made me uncomfortable, of course, because he just was charming and swept women right off their feet, and I didn't understand that. And another problem was his mother was overly controlling, and she had good intentions, but when she was in charge, she chose everything from the butlers and the maids and the cooks to the decorations and the silverware that we bought and everything, and it was difficult. And then, of course, there was Franklin's affairs that he had later on in life, and he had an affair with my social secretary, Lucy Mercer, and after that, our relationship was never the same. It was more like a political partnership than a marriage.
But overall, were you excited that he became president, or?
Well, I supported him wholeheartedly. I did all I could, but I must admit I was not thrilled at the idea of being First Lady.
I see. And why is that, though? Like, the life in the White House with servants and butlers and maids sounds like a dream.
Well, you see, that was wonderful. It was wonderful having people to take care of. I enjoyed many of the people that were working on our household. I made sure I knew them all. But the problem with being First Lady was everybody knows you, someone's always watching you, and people are always talking about you, and some people say wonderful things, some people say horrible things, and some of them aren't even true. And about people watching, there was one time when I went riding in the morning, and I got bucked off my horse and I fell, and I didn't think anyone saw it because it was early and no one was out there, but I went back to the home and someone asked me about it, and I was just surprised. And then as far as people talking, I always did things, I wasn't afraid to get my hands dirty. I worked in soup kitchens, I worked in the slums and places where there was dirt and disease and just filth everywhere, and I just worked with those people, and the other critics criticized me for that because they said it was unfitting for a First Lady. And of course there was the issues of people getting jealous if I was spending more time with certain people, like you and I, being close friends, spend more time than I spend with people I don't fancy so much. So that's what I didn't enjoy about it.
And if you could leave one lasting impact on someone, what would it be, or something?
Well, I hope that as a First Lady, I've inspired women and First Ladies specifically to use every power, every right that they have, because I believe women have the conviction, the compassion, and the conscience that is lacking in politics today, and I believe first ladies can do many things, and I believe women can do many things, and I just hope that my life has been an example of that.
And who are some of those people that have influenced you to make these decisions?
Well, definitely my father. Though he had his own problems, he cared about people, he worked with people in horrible conditions, and he just had compassion for people. And my Uncle Teddy, he was similar with my father, they did those sort of things. And also my Uncle Teddy, when my father wasn't much of a father to me, he took me in, was like a father to me. And also Madame Sylvester from the Allenswood School, she was like a mother to me, and she taught me many things, not just the school subjects, the French and the English and all that. She taught me to care about the world and to do everything I can to change it for the better.
So who do you consider a hero then?
To me, anybody who sees the world around them, sees the horrible things that go on, and is inspired to give their life to change those things, that's a hero to me, whether it's today or 1,000 years ago.
You've done so much in your life with the busy schedule and taking care of all these things. How do you manage to pull this off, and what are you proud of?
You know, people say that I have much energy, and I suppose it's a Roosevelt thing because we all are just bustling with energy and we get things done, and I've just been inspired to do things, and well, definitely I'm very passionate about the United Nations. I believe it's what our world needs, for peace and understanding among all the countries is something like the UN, to keep that peace. And I worked with the UN, and we did the UDHR, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and that's very dear to my heart because I care about that. And also there's a CWA, which is a Civil Works Administration, and it was part of the New Deal of when my husband was president. And when I first saw it, I noticed that the CWA was directed towards men and not women laborers at all. And so I had a conference and we fixed that so that it could help unemployed women also. And so within a year after the new proposal, 100,000 women received jobs, and it was really wonderful. I'm proud of that. Yes.
And what else do you enjoy doing?
I would have to say I most enjoy spending time at Valkill. That's a home, it's a little cottage I have up in New York. It's in a very peaceful place with lots of land. There's a swimming pool and there's water nearby, there's a creek, and we go boating there. And I do everything there, from just relaxing to getting work done on my own, to having important political meetings, to family reunions. It's a lovely place, I love it.
Well, I have enjoyed talking to you again,
Yes.
and I look forward to going to Valkill with you next weekend.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we need to do that one more time.